Hey everyone, Ray Sawvell, raysawvell.com. In today's video, we are going to be reviewing Google Slides and how you can use it in your day-to-day activities. It is slightly different than Microsoft PowerPoint, but a lot of the functions that you use on a day-to-day basis is pretty similar. If that's the type of video you're looking for, make sure to stick around. In order to access Google Slides, all you have to do is head on over to slides.google.com. You will get to this section right here where you can click on the plus button to create a new presentation, or what you can use is Google shortcut and just go to slides.new. And by you doing this right away, you'll be brought directly to Google Slides and you'll be able to start editing content. Now, right when you get to Google Slides, you'll notice it looks very similar to PowerPoint. The first thing you'll typically want to do is name your presentation so you can easily find it later. For purposes of this, I'm going to call it Demo Projects. And then what you can do right away is you can click on this folder in the upper right-hand corner to ensure that you move it to somewhere where you can find it easier in the future. So I can go ahead and go here. I can make a new folder, call this Demo Project, and then I can go ahead and move this project right there. And the final thing that you can do if you want to find this project much easier later, you can star it. So now this project will be starred. You can find it in the future for easier navigation. One of the first things you'll notice when prompted inside Google Slides is you will see this themes menu on the right-hand side, and it's a really great way to get a polish or a professional look to your presentation with very minimal effort. So instead of getting this very standard background that is blank and basic, you can click and navigate through some of these themes. So you can see a darker theme, one that has, different themes at the top. You can also play around, and you can also import themes on the web here by clicking this button. So I kind of like this theme, so I'm going to stick with it. So now that we have this theme added to our project, I'm going to go ahead here and call this Demo Project, and I'm going to call this Pokemon is Cool. And what we can go ahead and do is we can add new slides to our project pretty easily. So there are several ways to do this, just like in most programs. You can go ahead and click on this plus button here. It'll make a new slide. You can go ahead and press Control M, which will give you a new slide. Or you can go to this option here by the drop-down menu next to the plus button, and you can choose a slide with a specific theme or a template. So the really cool thing here is if you have, side-by-side data that you want to showcase, there's built-in themes where you can select that right away. So there are several ways that you can come in ahead and change things pretty quickly. Once we have the theme that we like, we can go ahead and insert different graphics. We can insert text box, audios, videos, shapes, what have you, into Google Slides here right away. So once you have that information, we can go ahead and enter an image right away. Now, if you have an image that you want to upload from your computer, you can go ahead and do that. You can use specific URLs. You can even use Google Photos. But for purposes of this tutorial, I'm going to search the web to add an image. And what this will do is you'll see a search prompt on the right hand side where you can search Google for specific images. This has safe search enabled, so you can go ahead and use this pretty safely without having to worry about it. I'm going to search for Pokemon because that's what my slide is about. So, this is just such a great slide here. I'm going to click on this right here and insert it. And now this image is inserted into my slide, and you can go ahead and edit this image. You'll notice you have format options to change the size. I can change the position, even adding things like drop shadows and reflections if you want to. So there are ways that you can edit this. For purposes of this video, we're not going to get into how to edit photos a ton just because that's not the purpose of this video. But what you can go ahead and do once you have the image inserted on your screen here, you can click this Explore button on the bottom, and Google will look at your image and say, hey, I like what you have on the slide here. I want to edit this to XYZ theme. I can do this. You can choose to change things around and kind of play around with it, and you can move around even like some of the images here. So that's another option, or you can just have the image somewhere on the screen and kind of play around with where you would like it. One other key tip that people I'm sure know of is you can do Control Z to kind of undo and kind of go back to what you had on the screen before. So another helpful shortcut, just real quick to touch on. One thing to call out for all slides presentations is we want to make sure that we go to the speaker notes, and you can add in notes at the bottom down here that is only present to the speaker when you are presenting the slide. So let's say I have some really great notes that I want to have on the bottom down here. I can make sure that I have these notes. They are easily referenced by me, and I can look at this information pretty quickly. This is a really helpful thing to look at to ensure that you have all of your most important notes in the speaker notes, and it's not plaguing your slides, because obviously if you have data and information on your slides, you don't want to just have a ton of information there. You want to have a lot of that you're going to be presenting on, speaking to, and you don't necessarily want to just cram your slide with a ton of information. Now, we talked about adding new slides. One thing that I don't see used often is duplicating out slides that are something that you already like based on a previous template. So what you can do in this left pane over here is if you right click on it, you can duplicate slides. And the reason why that's nice is because if you have a graph, if you have specific bullet points, or you just like the overall format that you have on that slide, you can easily duplicate it and it'll take everything on that slide and then you can play around with it, manipulate it, and change it to exactly how you would like. The next quick tip that I wanted to go through here briefly is the option to skip slides in a presentation. So let's say you have a reoccurring deck that you use on a weekly basis on a specific meeting. What you can do in the presentation is you can right click on a slide, click on skip slide, and you'll notice that when you view this, it has like a little skip information on it. And then when you start to present it, no one will be able to see the slide when you present. So as soon as I start to present, you're going to notice that it skips that one slide and it just stays on this one, which is very nice. Now, a really, really awesome part that I like about using Google products is because Google Slides is linked to Google Docs and Google Sheets. You can take data sets from Google Sheets and then ensure that information is linked. So if you have a live data set somewhere else, you can copy that information over to your slide, and then you can easily update that information without having to update it in two places. So I have a slide over here with just some random data in it. I'm going to copy it. So I'm going to do Control C, go to my slide over here to a random empty slide, paste it, and you're going to notice right when you get to this option here, it says paste table. Now you can link it to the spreadsheet, which is what I'm going to do, or you can paste it unlinked. Now, there are some instances where you may want to paste it unlinked, like if this is a one-time data pull. But if you have something that updates very frequently, it uses like a third-party API to update all the time, you likely want to have linked to spreadsheet. So then if the data set is changed over here, by default, you can click an update button and it'll link it and update it in your PowerPoint as well, which is really great. So if I click on paste for the link to spreadsheet option, you're going to notice that my slide is over here. And of course, because I have this black background, you're not going to be able to see it very well. So I'm just going to update the text here to white so you can see it. Now, the reason you know why this is updated right here is because you can see this link option right here. So if I click on this drop-down arrow, I can unlink it, which I wouldn't recommend doing. You can open the source, which is going to take me to this presentation that I have over here for all this data. You can also change the range. So if you have a ton of different data sets or for whatever reason your data set changed, you can go back to that information, change that set. You can also match the data and formatting, which is also a pretty cool option. So if I change the formatting over here, if I updated whatever, you can automatically go over here, click match spreadsheet data and formatting, and it'll go right away. So I'm going to show you the power here of what this can do at scale. So I've got numbers column over here at 22. Let's just say I change this to 99. Now if I go over to my spreadsheet, you're going to notice that there's an update button here. So if you click on update, that's going to update it right away to 99, which you're going to notice that it now reflects in both places and you don't have to double up on the work. So just a great way to save time when you're referencing multiple data sets. Now, animations can also be a powerful thing to use. You definitely don't want to overdo the animations because if you overdo those animations, it's going to make your presentation look a little tacky. So less is more in my experience with animations. So if you right click on a specific object within your slides, you're going to notice an animate option. So I'm going to click on animate over here. And then there's a drop-down menu where you can change and choose exactly what you want to happen. So you can have it, you can even have it spin if you would like to. So you can zoom in, fly out, all sorts of things. I normally like to have it just appear or disappear because that's not as like crazy. Because if you have it fly in, it doesn't look as professional, obviously. So you can see there you go, my graph flying in. Normally, it's better to just have that information there. But if you're trying to show a before or after, it might be helpful to have data set over here, have it disappear, and then have the new data set come in. So again, in my experience, less is more with the animation function, just because if you do too much, it looks like a third grade presentation, which don't want to knock those third graders, but you don't want to do it too much. So here's the appear option. A couple other quick tips here is that Google Slides has built-in spell check. So if you type in something and if I spell something incorrectly, so if I type in like bookmark, like Bachmark, it should just underline it and do it right here. But if you just have a ton of data on the slide and you go to tools and then spelling, you can do an easy spell check right away where it's going to go through your entire slide. So most Google and Microsoft products have this right away, but ensuring that you do this type of thing before you go live with this presentation, always do a spell check. You don't want to have this look unprofessional and have it come across wrong. And the final thing I want to call out here for this video specifically, because it is a Google product, there are add-ons that are available for Google Slides that may not be available for Microsoft, at least in my experience. So if you go to add-ons, get add-ons. Google has a ton of different themes, projects, add-ons that you can use for your presentation to make it look better, make it link differently, just to update and level up your slides game. Now, this video could use a whole different topic. Now, this topic could use a whole other video. If that's something that you would like to see or something you're interested in, please leave a comment down below and I can make sure to explore this further. But just know that this is available. And if you're looking for something cool, likely this is going to be one area that you're going to go to level up your slides game. And that's it. Just a quick video today on Google Slides and how it can be beneficial in your day-to-day. Now, if you did find this video helpful, please consider subscribing. Only about 8% of the people that are watching this video are subscribed. It'll ensure that this type of content gets recommended to people just like you, and I would appreciate it a lot. Also, if you're in the digital marketing space and if you're looking for more digital marketing content, I'll have a playlist on the screen that you can check out to improve your digital campaigns. Until next time, thanks so much for watching.